Alright, so today is the day that I finally take Spiderman seriously. I want to build some commander decks. Obviously, the number one commander I think that's coming out of Marvel Spider-Man stuff for Magic the Gathering is none other than Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Oh my word, that thing is very strong. So we're first going to build Green Goblin and then check out a couple other commanders that I think have high potential. Alright, so first and foremost, here is our commander. We have Norman Osborn, who is 1 in a blue as a 1/1 human scientist villain. Norman Osborn can't be blocked, and whenever Norman Osborn deals combat damage to a player, he connives. You can also transform him for 1 in a blue, black, red, where I really was excited about this because I did want a connive deck. So this is a mechanic that is coming back with Spooderman, and I'm very excited about it. My husband runs Rafine, the Scheming Seer, which is a connive commander from Streets of New Capenna. It does extremely well, but the connive ability is super strong. And so I've never really found anything that I was really thrilled about for that. I don't have a Grixis commander, so having this scary guy seems cool, but I was really excited about this because of the connive. However, if we read Green Goblin, wow, that is so much better. You can also play this directly for the Green Goblin CMC. You don't have to go to Norman Osborn and then transform. So that's a new ability here that is being retroactive, which is pretty cool. But Green Goblin costs 1 blue, black, and red as a 3/3 Goblin human villain. Flying Menace, spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and he has a Goblin formula. Each now and then card in your graveyard has Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost, and Mayhem is you can cast a card from your graveyard for its Mayhem cost if you discarded it this turn. Timing rules still apply. So timing rules need to make sure that you are understanding what speeds things can be played at, that kind of shenanigans. I am not a graveyard girly, and so I know that it's also extremely strong, which makes Green Goblin a huge, huge contender for CEDH. Being able to cost things for less, being able to do the Mayhem, all of the abilities with graveyard recursion, and just having your graveyard being an open library as well as your library is huge. This commander is super strong. We're going to see a ton of play with him, and I know that he'll just stick around long past this set being released. So very excited about this. I do want to make sure I'm building the deck around Connive as well as the Green Goblin ability. That way I can do whatever I want. If I want to do unblockable commander damage, I have that option. If I want to just focus on Connive and doing shenanigans, doing silly things, that's the kind of deck I like to play. So I like chaos, I like silly, I like jank stuff. So we're going to see. I also don't want to just throw in all of the really high-powered, powerful stuff. So you guys, we're building this deck. Yes, there are better cards that I could use to put in this deck. However, I want this to be fun. I want it to be something I'll actually enjoy playing and not break my wallet. So I still want to be married after this. I can't spend all of my money. So we want to make sure that we are having fun. At the end of the day, that's what Commander is all about, having fun with your friends. So this was our Commander. Let's go ahead and get over to moxfield. Alright, so you see I have my Spooderman's commander deck built out in moxfield. If you want to follow me, I am Queen Honey 7 right there, so 7's my lucky number. If you want to come and hang out, I try to have a bunch of fun over on moxfield. But anyways, we have our commandy right here. I do really like this version. Specifically, I love this artwork. They do have the switch printing this version, which is pretty cool. Really enjoy that. It's definitely a fun way to bling out your commander. I just very much enjoy this artwork so much. I love the classic spookiness of it. I love the pumpkin bombs. It's just, it looks really good. So I do like the reflection here. They did a wonderful job on this artwork. Kudos. So good. Thank you. But I am going to use this version because I very much enjoy it. I also like that it looks like a magic card, which is nice. And I have other ways of blinging out my commander. So we'll have some fun with that later. I need to go ahead and just throw in some commander staples here. So obviously we got to get that soul ring, arcane signet, commander sphere, that kind of shenanigans. I know some people will have rules where they only play one card in each deck, so like only one of their commander decks can have a soul ring. I don't know if there are cool Spider-Man ones. Yeah, but they're going to be the secret layer ones, which means it's going to be expensive. So we're just going to say use cheapest. I don't like the specific Final Fantasy. Is that cheapest? Okay, it is. Well, I want it to feel a little bit different. I do really like the Tarkier one. We'll just go with that. And then Commander Sphere, I don't think they have anything crazy. I love this guy. I have a couple of these. I don't know that I have another one, but it's a goblin and we are doing goblin stuff. So is there a fun goblin looking soul ring? Let's check that out. Maybe y'all aren't as intense about making your artworks match as I am, but there are a lot of fun ways to keep it all together. I'm going to go with the Doctor Who one here. I think that looks very scary, much like a goblin scary thing. So got some of those out of the way. We want to make sure that we are doing all the connive stuff. So I'm actually going to go over to Scryfall. Do I know how to search for connive? That is a wonderful question. All right, we got there. Keyword connive. So we're just going to go ahead and try to filter this with them at the top. Okay, so these are most expensive to least expensive, which is great. I also want to make sure that I have all of the connive stuff from Spider-Man, so let me pull up that set on Scryfall. Okay, so we have this. Can I put in the keyword thing connive as well over on here? Does it work that way? I know there's a lot more than just these guys. A lot more than just these guys. But let's go ahead and look. On Unstable Experiments, pretty good. 1 blue instant. Target player draws a card, then 1 target creature you control connives. Super easy ad. The Mob Lookout. When this creature enters, target creature you control connives. So an ETB ability. If we want to blink some stuff, we can with blue. Whenever this creature attacks, it connives. It has flash. Being a 2/1, I really don't see that going my way in Commander. I think if I get this late game, literally it's not even worth it at all. But it's an attack and trigger, so if it dies, that's fine. I just want things to connive, which would be good. Prowler, Clawed Thief, Menace as a 2/3. Whenever another villain you control enters, Prowler connives. So getting a +1/+1 counter on him would be strong. That would also be a very fun commander. Prowler, if you're wanting to just specifically focus on Demir connive shenanigans. I think, though, I do like the addition of red with Norman Osborn, and the Green Goblin is just so stinking good. But really like Prowler, so we'll add him. And then Scorpion, Seething Striker is a 3/3 Death Touch. I count Death Touch as removal, so that's a huge add. And at the beginning of your end step, if your creature died this turn, target creature you control connives, which will be happening because we are doing graveyard shenanigans, so we're fine getting rid of things. So we're going to go ahead and add Prowler and Scorpion to our deck. All right, this last one here, the Mechanical Mobster is a 2/1 artifact creature, robot villain. Whenever it enters, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Target creature you control connives. So if it's just 1 card, there's definitely place for it. You want to make sure that you're holding this out so that there are graveyard shenanigans to be had, making sure they can't reanimate that Shieldred. So it definitely has a place. I think that there's probably better things in here, but it's probably a cheaper ad and some stuff. So we're just going to throw it in at the moment. So now we are strictly looking at the connive abilities. When I think of connive, Ledger Shredder probably is the very first one that we add. That card goes in every deck that runs blue. It's a 1/3 flyer. Whenever the player casts their second spell each turn, Ledger Shredder connives. Connive is you draw a card and discard a card, and if you discarded a non-land permanent, then you put a +1/+1 counter on Ledger Shredder, or on whatever creature. And so if you discard a land, nothing happens, but you did get that library manipulation, which is very strong. And so Ledger Shredder, whenever a player casts their second spell, so literally everyone, this is popping off for everyone, so he goes really big. He is expensive. Of course we know that. He went down. He's only $6 That's not bad at all. Definitely adding a $6 card that's so good like Ledger Shredder. I was worried it was like $20-$30. So that's pretty good. Looks like the most expensive of him is the promo for $15. That's not bad. I lied. The special guest looks really good from Bloomburrow. I do have that special guest card. So even though it's more expensive, I don't have to spend money on it because I already own it. So I'm gonna choose that one. I can't help it. I own that. That's part of this. I wish Rafine could go in there, but white is not a part of the ability, so got to keep that guy out. We already got some of those up there. Change of plans. Each of X target creatures you control connive. You may have any of them phase out. Gonna do that. The phasing out would help with ETB triggers. So change of plans. Sounds good to me. Only $2. That's not bad. Spymaster's Vault. Pretty good. You can have a land that makes things connive. Really good. I think there's a pretty version too. There is the pretty version, and it's not expensive, so we'll go ahead and choose that. It's absolutely gorgeous. Cyclinus, the subtier, more than meets the eye, is a 5 in Demir. We cast this card for that cost. Interesting. Flying, it deals combat damage to a player. It connives whenever its power is 5 or greater. Convert it. So more than meets the eye, we would convert it to a living metal. As long as it's your turn, this vehicle is also a creature. Flying, deals combat damage to a player. Convert it. If you do, there is an additional beginning phase after this main phase. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of shenanigans with Transformers and Spoodermans being in the same deck. So I'm going to keep that out of there. Flying is the thing that's keeping me with this in mind, though, because I do get worried about not having any reach on any of the rest of these creatures unless they're maybe blue. I don't know. So if anyone is playing like a dragon type deck coming after me, I got no answers. So having Cyclinus for evasion here with a flying would be really strong, but I'm more interested in other shenanigans. So let's keep it rolling. Body Launderer is a mythic. 3/3 Death Touch. We know I love Death Touch. A non-token creature you control dies, it connives. When it dies, another target non-rogue creature you control with equal or lesser power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Great card. Great card. And it's got to be cheap because these are going down. $149. Let's go. Pretty good. Man, again, some of these are really fun for Rafine, so that's where that color identity makes sense. Deals combat damage, so we can equip this to make anything connive. So Mask of the Schemer will be strong for our non-connive things. Mask of the Schemer. Lethal Scheme is Convoke. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Each creature that convoked for a lethal scheme connives. Multiple creatures conniving. So we want to make sure we take advantage of that convoke ability. All right, a Copy Crook. It's a shapeshifter rogue. Enters battlefield as a copy of any target on the battlefield, except it has whenever this creature attacks, it connives. So it says on the battlefield. That's anyone's battlefield, not just mine. It doesn't say your battlefield. Anyways, copying stuff that I have on the field or anyone else, whatever. I don't care. That's a good card. I would love to have a Copy Crook. All right, Security Bypass would be good if we want to just really go in on the connive ability here. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, it connives. So that's going to be really good for any kind of connive shenanigans. But the enchanted creature, as long as enchanted creature is attacking alone, it can't be blocked. That goes more in line with our Norman Osborn stuff. But I don't really think I'm going to have many things that want to attack alone. So I don't think that that's very good for this deck. Rafine Silencer, when it enters the battlefield, connive. When it dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -X where it's power, so that's good. Rafine Silencer. All right, more birds would be strong. 2/3 Flying, enter this battlefield, connives. Echo Inspector. Evasion is our best friend. Okay, so there's not too many more. Thankfully, the majority of these are in our color identity. I wish. Okay, so Menace, ETBs, connives, and ETBs connives. When it connives this way, return up to one target non-land permanent card from its owner's hand to its owner's hand. It's kind of expensive for that. I'm not in love with it. When an ETBs connive, these are fine. Menace, ETBs, or attacks it connives. That's better. The Menace isn't too scary. Yeah, we'll do a couple of those. So the Scurrilous Sentry, Revel Ruiner, and Psionic Snoop. All right, we do have that last one here, Doc Ock's Henchman. I know this is a Spooderman flavor win. I'm not interested. It's a 2/1 flash, great for limited. Long run, I don't think it's going to help. You know, I can flash it in as a blocker, but then I don't get the Connive ability. So I would just rather save my 3 mana for other shenanigans. So we're going to go ahead and check out what other decks. I think I'm going to check out some Rafine Scheming Seer decks to see what kind of artifacts, enchantments, instants, and sorceries that they have, to see what's going on there. I think it'll be really good. So let's go ahead and check that out on Scryfall. No, Moxfield. All right, Rafine, the Scheming Seer. I don't know if it's the, so we're just gonna say Rafine and see what pops up. An overbearing group hug. Oh no. What does our guy do again? On the back, spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less. So we have quite a few Connive things. We need to make sure we're doing graveyard shenanigans. None card in your graveyard have mayhem. Yep. So we want to be casting from our bottom there. All right. Well, Rafine Scheming Seer. I don't know. There it is. There it is. Conniving Insight. Let's check that out. I am a visual learner, so I do need to see the grids there. A bunch of fun spells. Wow. Oh, you know what? Let's just look at some Spooderman stuff really quick, because I do remember the Sinister 6 card. Very good for... oh my gosh. Very good for this deck. All right, so I brought us back to the Spiderman full set on Scryfall. I'm just going to go through all of the colors. So we got blue, black, and then red. So we're just going to take a look at some of these, see if any would be fun to add, and then kind of go from there. The Clone Saga would be fun. I'm not in love with it, but I do love Imposter Syndrome. Whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary. So having all of the very scary things, that's an automatic add into any deck running blue. All right, that is taking us up to our higher end of things. Imposter Syndrome is an $18 card out the gate. Now, these are made up prices. This is 3 weeks before the prices are actually going to settle. The settlement of pricing on cards for a new set generally is a week after release. So today is the 16th. It pre-releases the 19th and then releases the 26th, which means it's a full other week after that. We're getting into October before prices are actually going to start settling for this. So it's not going to stick at 18 bucks. I do think it's probably going to dip a second, but then go right back up, just because this card is so good and everyone will want it for any of their decks. So probably going to stay up there. I also know Lady Octopus is really good. She's a 0/2. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an ingenuity counter on Lady Octopus. Ingenuity? What in the world? I can't say words. You can also tap her. You may cast an artifact spell from your hand with a mana value less than or equal to the number of ingenuity counters on Lady Octopus without paying its mana cost. I don't know how many artifact stuff I'm going to be doing, so probably not the best for this deck, even though she is very strong. I do like Madam Web here because you can look at the top card of your library at any time. And then you may cast spider spells and non-creature spells from the top of your library. Whenever you attack, you may mill a card. Milling will be really good for this because we are going to want to do stuff out of our graveyard. So I'm going to go ahead and add Madam Web. Okay, we got a rare here, Mysterio. Whenever it enters, create a 3/3 blue illusion creature token for each non-token villain you control. Exile those tokens when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. We would be able to do sacrifice shenanigans if we need to with those tokens. He's a good one to keep in the back of our heads. Of course, our guy, Norman Osborn, right there, the Green Goblin. Drawing 2 cards for 7 mana is kind of a lot. I think we can find other shenanigans with instants and sorceries to draw cards. But School Days is a 5 where you choose one. Draw 3 cards or counter target spell and draw a card. Having the options there is really nice. Both of those are really strong. It's just the 5 mana that's given me a hard time. Secret Identity with the Arcade Post throwback artwork here. He had a throwback to another card that he did. Amazing right there. Choose one. It's only 1 mana. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a citizen with base power toughness 1/1 and gains hexproof. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a hero with base power toughness 3/4 and gains flying and vigilance. So if we're getting +1 counters on things because of our Connive ability, this is probably pretty good because we're going to have +1 counters. So their base power and toughness is going to be 3/4. So like a 1/1 is now going to be up even more with those +1 counters. And then gaining flying and Vigi is really strong. The Vigi is crazy. So I am going to add secret identity. All right, we already have unstable experiment in there. Spiderman no more. Enchanted creature is a citizen with base power and toughness 1/1, has defender and loses all other abilities. I love cards like this. Casmina's transmutation. Anything that's making it a 1/1 with no abilities. Yes, please. So Spiderman no more. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and add Casmina's transmutation in here as well. It's Little Frog. Little Frog. What's the one makes it a legitimate business person? Oh, I'll figure it out. We'll add that one too. All right, now we're getting into the black shenanigans. Behold the Sinister Six. This is what I was telling you. Return up to 6 target creature cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if we're milling, if we're getting board wiped, whatever, I don't even care because I'm going to not only have graveyard fun things happening from the Green Goblin, but Behold the Sinister Six is such a strong mythic. Definitely adding that. All right, so right now they have that as a $10 card. Again, prices are made up at the moment. It is super good. It's a bigger CMC of 7, so we'll see. It might not be that bad after release. Pricing go up, but it definitely will be a staple that goes in any deck. It's really, really good. Any commander deck. Black Cat, whenever she ETBs, look at the top 9 cards of target opponent's library, exile 2 of them face down, put the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. You may play the exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled. Mana can be of any type to cast those spells. So that's really good. If you guys are playing scary stuff, I love that. She's only a 2/3 for 5 though. I think that would be much more fun to kind of build around as her own commander card. But Gwenum is really good. 4/4 Death Touch Lifelink. Whenever she attacks until end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library. Anytime that you may play cards from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana rather than its mana cost. So Gwenum, definitely. Alright, I also really like Morlin here, the Devourer of Spiders. He has a 2/1 with lifelink, but enters with X +1 counters on him. And then whenever he enters, he deals X damage to target opponent. So I really like that guy. Even if you, for whatever reason, would have to blink him and he loses the +1 counters, because you can't blink with an X, it would just enter, he would still do 2 damage to target opponent. So even if you're doing weird stuff, he's still good. So I'm going to go ahead and add him. Okay, enchantment here. At the beginning of your end step, 2 target players each reveal a top card of their library. Each lose life equal to the mana value of the card revealed this way. And then they each put that card revealed this way into their hand. I love this kind of stuff. I know there's another card that's very similar to this already in the Magic verse. But Parker Luck is a flavor win. So we're gonna put that in here. Alright, risky research, surveil 2, draw 2, lose 2 life. Pretty simple. Definitely need some card manipulation, so sounds good to me. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with an additional +1 counter on it. So it does have a mayhem there already. I do like the prison break. That's going to be a fun one. Scorpion is a 3/3 Death Touch. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, target creature you control connives. We already had Scorpion. We got him. Scorpion's in there. Good, good, good. That's a great card. The Soul Stone. Oh my gosh. Everyone and their mom wants a Soul Stone. That card is so good. Definitely the #1 card in the set. It's a 1 black indestructible. How do I build a Spooderman deck and not put in the Soul Stone? So I'm putting it in there. Probably never going to find one. It is what it is. Look at this. Just the base copy is $100. Absolutely insane. It's the best card in the set. So am I actually surprised at the price? Probably not. That does make it feel a little bit more worth it to be opening up Spider-Man, but wow, that's insane. This is the chase. You know, we do have the borderless foil treatment and collector boosters, as well as the absolute #1 chase of the cosmic borderless, which is absolutely insane and extremely difficult to pull. So it is less than 1% chance at that one, less than 1% chance and extremely difficult to find. per wizards, and so it's just going to be absolutely insane. If you can find a soul stone, kudos to you. I'm definitely not throwing out $100 on one card. So this is a flavor addition into here. When I consider the end of this deck, I'm gonna subtract $100 from the bottom price here, because that is insane. I am not spending $100 on one singular card. No way. Wow, it's a good card though. Very good card. All right, I also really like Spiderman Noir here. I know there's a cool artwork of him that I really like, but getting +1 counters on stuff, Surveil with a number of counters, Surveil is just going to be really, really strong for all of our Connive and Graveyard Recursion. All right, if we go back, there is a pretty version. Switch printing, yes. I love it. That looks sweet. He looks so cool. All right, I do like Venom. He is a death touch already, but then when we can exile from our graveyard, putting 2 +1 counters on target creature, gaining death touch until end of turn, giving something else death touch sounds awesome. It's at sorcery speed, so you do want to be conscious of that. But then getting a death touch back from my graveyard, such as Venom, sounds fun as well. So we're going to add him in there. I can't do some of the other Venom cards because they are not in my color combo, but this guy's mono black, so it's nice getting a Venom in here. We are going to throw in the venomized cat. It's a little kid cat. Oh my gosh, I love the Mouseroni. 2/3 death touch. When it enters, mill 2 cards. That's ultimately just going to help us. So we're adding the cat. All right, we are just now getting into the red cards. Wow. I think there's better cards. This artwork is sick. That's so cool. But there are better cards for a lower CMC, so it's a great card. If you want flavor wins, definitely add Venom's Hunger, but we're not going to do that. Villainous Wrath is pretty good. Target opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures they control, then destroy all creatures. Great board wipe. If you're playing against any kind of token player, my fellow Balin players, wow, are you losing life to this card? I'll add that in. It's a good flavor win as well as a board wipe with other shenanigans. 5 is a lot. Was that 5 CMC? Yeah, 3 and 2 black. Big beefy CMC. I don't know that I'll ever have anything back on that, but it is at sorcery speed. So unless you're giving shenanigans where you can play things at instant speed instead of sorcery, you're untapping your mana to do this anyways. So, and then I can cast stuff from my graveyard because mine's a graveyard recursion deck, so I don't mind board wiping. So Villainous Wrath, pretty good. Okay, finally getting into the red stuff. I know Electro's good. 2/3, don't lose unspent mana as steps and phases end. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, add a red mana. Whenever he leaves the battlefield, you may pay X. If you do, he deals X damage to target player. Great card, and he is a flying, so we got some evasion. Electro is sweet. Gwen Stacy, I don't like this artwork, but I do very much enjoy this card, and I will be building this out as a commander as well. I also don't have a Jeskai commander. I really wanted to do Zinnia, making everything have offspring, but I'm just going to throw Zinnia in the 99, and it'll be a secret Zinnia deck where Gwen Stacy is at the highlight. So very excited for that. We'll check her out later, but we're going to figure out what else is good for this deck. Electro's Bolt does 4 damage to target creature and has Mayhem for 3 mana. That's okay. It's a lot of mana. 4 damage is pretty nice though. Whenever you discard a card, he gets +2/+0 until end of turn with Flying Haste. Probably pretty good. I just think that's way better for commander early game than late game. If I'm drawing this late game, I'm still conniving, I'm still doing things. But I don't know. I don't want to add that. I feel like I'll have other fun stuff from just regular Magic things. Maximum Carnage, I see that add 3 mana there is really nice, especially if we have Electro for not losing unspent mana. Till your next turn, each creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you. So pretty much goad until your next turn. Add 3 mana and then deals 5 damage to each opponent. Perfect card. Adding that. Super fun. And then we can get it back from our grave for Mayhem because of Green Goblin. All right, Romantic Rendezvous. I love this. It's very reminiscent of Secret Rendezvous, which I love. Romantic Rendezvous in our colors, which is nice, and it definitely leads into the whole graveyard shenanigans. So we're going to add Romantic Rendezvous. All right, I think Wisecrack is interesting here. It's an instant for 2 and a red. Target creature deals damage equal to its power to itself. If that creature is attacking, it also deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. So having this as a bit of removal, if you need to do shenanigans, is fun. I think this is a cool interaction of getting rid of a creature or just doing damage enough to where you can actually kill their creature with your blocker, but then also doing 2 damage to its creature's controller is pretty fun. It does cost 3, so I don't know how often I'll have 3 unspent mana open to cast unless I have something like Electro helping me have unspent mana not fizzle. So Wisecrack is very fun, but I think I'm going to hold off on that guy. All right, we're going down to see our multicolored shenanigans. Carnage, Crimson Chaos is a 4/3 trample. Enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your grave to the battlefield. Love that. Gains creature attacks each combat if able, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. So hopefully we're just going to get our biggest, baddest, scariest thing to be humongous so that if they want this to be sacrificed, they have to take the damage. So I think Carnage is very fun. We also have Dr. Octopus, Master Planner, 4/8. Other villains you control get +2/+2. Maximum hand size is 8. Interesting. Beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 8 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. So I don't necessarily want any kind of max hand size, even though that's a great addition for blue cards because you are drawing a lot of cards, but we specifically are conniving, so we're trying to get things in the grave as well as in our hand. So having that draw cards equal to the difference, hitting that 8 will be very fun. So I think Carnage and Dr. Octopus are both ads we want. Carnage has a cool printing I also really enjoy. Wow, look at that. Oh my gosh, insane. The panel frame looks so good. Love it. Dr. Octopus also has the frame. It's $5 more. It is way better. It is better. I don't care to have the artwork for $5 more. So I'm going to keep the OG. Wow, foil's cheaper. Pfft, silly. All right, we also have Green Goblin Revenant, Flying Death Touch, attacks, discard a card, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. Really good. A ton of card draw for that guy. Green Goblin definitely needs to be in a Green Goblin deck. All right, we have Prowler already. I don't think we have Morbius, the Living Vampires. A 3/1 flying Vigi, lifelink. Lifelink will be kind of nice because we are going to be paying paying life from Gwenom. So being able to get some lifelink back will be nice, and having it as Flying Vigilance remains this as a blocker. You can also pay Demir and exile this card from your graveyard to look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So I think this is super fun. Again, a really good commander if you just want to build off of this. I think there'd be a ton of fun vampire things that you can do. I don't have a vampire deck. I was originally looking at Morbius as well, but then I saw Prowler and I was like, oh, Connive would be sweet, but we landed on Green Goblin, so here we are. But Morbius is going in the 99. All right, there are a couple other fun things I think though you could add if you were interested. Scarlet Spider Kane, Shriek Troublemaker, both really fun. The only other one that I think that I'm super interested in, Spiderman 2099 is super sweet. Also, these Demir spiders, probably pretty good. We're going to check those out, but I am getting concerned because I already have 22 creatures and I don't have anything very scary. Shieldred, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, but I am getting kind of high on the 22. So I actually have my notepad here. I'm gonna write down these creatures as reminders that I would like to look back on these because the other things that we got going on here would be really fun, but we definitely need to check out the rest of the spells we want to play to make sure that we are getting good synergy. All right, so from all of the graveyard stuff that is happening, I'm getting a little nervous because I am not a graveyard girly. I want to make sure that I'm not just milling myself out, that I'm able to play things from my graveyard as well. So I went ahead and I'm searching play from graveyard in Scryfall. There's 392 cards, so a lot to search through. Obviously stuff like Ancient Brass Dragon, that's gonna be really good, but it's an ancient dragon, so it's gonna be expensive. I don't really know what all is gonna be in here. I really want to make sure I can play lands from my graveyard as well as any fun things. I know Archpriest of Shadows is really good. She has backup 1 as a 4/4. Death Touch, love. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If anything is saying to the battlefield rather than to my hand, I'm very excited about that. So we're just gonna go ahead and try to find a couple things here. She's gonna go in the deck, but I want to make sure I can play lands as well. So Crucible of Worlds or some kind of crazy shenanigans, we're gonna figure it out. All right, a card that I'm excited about is this Breaking and Entering. I think it's really fun. It's perfect in my color combos for Green Goblin and is perfect for the shenanigans I'm trying to do as well. But I like that I can play this for any kind of things that are happening. So Breaking is a sorcery that costs blue and a black. Target player puts the top 8 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If I have a bunch of just recursion stuff, reanimate, and all these things in my hand, but there's nothing in the grave and it's early game, then if I play this, I'm going to play it on myself so that I get stuff in the grave to do scary stuff. That would be very fun. But also if someone is tutoring for some kind of win con and they have to put it on the top of their library or something, I don't know, they're getting cards, I'm going to play this on them so that they have to get rid of stuff. Yeah, I don't want them to have their good cards. I just want me to have the good cards. Entering is a sorcery that costs 4 and Rakdos. Put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under my control. It gains haste until end of turn. So anyone having big scary stuff, I can choose anything from any graveyard. So it doesn't have to just be mine. So it's really good. Making the 6 CMC seem a little bit better. But this is very fun. It's an OG throwback. So I love adding this into the deck. Okay, 2 expensive cards I just added and I'm a little nervous about. Like I said, Crucible of Worlds. I'm definitely throwing that in here. There is a ton of graveyard stuff going on, but I don't really have any ramp. I'm very nervous about ramp. Yes, there are other spells I can play to figure this out. It looks like the cheapest copy is a $38 card, so a bunch of really pretty things if you want to ramp it up. I have never played Crucible of Worlds in a deck before, but it seems like this is the one that needs it, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in there because I need lands, I need ramp. Playing multiple lands on a turn would be very nice, but in the meantime, being able to play stuff out of my grave because I am doing a lot of mill and shenanigans there will be nice. And ultimately, if I'm conniving, wanting to put +1 counters on things, it has to be a non-land permanent in the grave for that to happen. So I'm getting lands out into the graveyard if I'm not getting those +1 counters, which means I need to play them from my graveyard. So Crucible of Worlds is an expensive add. I also added in the pretty version of Bloodchief Ascension. Regardless of if you have the pretty version of not, she is expensive. I think I have at least one laying around because of Commander Masters. So gotta sort through all of my bulk in these boxes to figure that out. But she's just really, really good. Oh my gosh, is she good. The cheapest is a $28 card. But I love the borderless version. Wow, that's stunning. Drana is crazy cool. It's just 1 black enchantment. Really good. So it's getting kind of expensive. We're at $560 right now. I know 100 of that is from our Soul Stone, and then almost another 100 of that is from Crucible of Worlds and Bloodchief Ascension here. So you could pretty much knock off $200 by just removing Bloodchief Ascension, Crucible of Worlds, and the Soul Stone. So, knocking off $200, 300, 400 color deck. That's more in line with like a mid-range commander deck. But wow, is she getting expensive? We're not even done yet. We're at 47 cards. Still a ways to go. Wow. I do like to play curses. I think they're pretty fun. I might search curses and figure out some other things just to make this a more mayhem focused deck, more of the vibe of Green Goblin. I think so far we have a good base of being a decent synergized commander deck, but I want it to feel like Green Goblin as well, so that like sinister, creepy feeling. I want it to feel that way, and curses are a good way of doing this. Right here we have Curse of Unbinding. It's enchanted player's upkeep. That player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield under your control, and then that player puts the rest of the revealed cards into their graveyard. So we're milling them, but I'm getting all of the benefit. This does cost 6 and a blue, so it's a 7 CMC, but how fun would this be? And you're just getting stuff at their upkeep. So if you're popping off going real hard, man, am I gonna curse you, and it's gonna be hilarious. I think we're starting to get into the point where I either need to check out some more commander decks on moxfield to get some more inspiration, or what I really like to do is to search sets that I really enjoy playing, and kind of just cherry pick some cards out of those sets. I am seeing here Selk from the Final Fantasy set, which is a super good card, perfect shenanigans and synergy with the Green Goblin. Norman Osborn, yes, but Green Goblin, because he is a 2/4 Vigi creature. Whenever he enters or attacks, draw a card, discard a card. Perfect. At the beginning of my upkeep, if there are 14 or more cards in my graveyard, I may transform Selk into a 6/6 vigilance creature, where during my turn, I may play cards from my graveyard. Really, really good. And then if a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So don't love the exile bit, but the rest of this is just too strong not to add. So I'm definitely going to add in Final Fantasy. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy person. I never played any of the games. I really enjoyed the set because it is super strong. So I think I'm going to check out Final Fantasy. I needed to check out Edge of Eternity, see what kind of shenanigans they have in there as well. But I really enjoyed like Wilds of Eldraine. I definitely have a ton of Wilds of Eldraine here. So I'm kind of going to start cherry picking cards that I know are good from other sets, as well as making sure I have removal. I think that's the one thing we're missing. If we're playing stuff out of our graveyard with Cell, Crucible of Worlds, I'm able to get ramp from being able to play my lands from there. But also I am getting a ton of card draw just from the Connive here, all the shenanigans like Selk. There's a lot going on. So I think that card draw and ramp wise, I'm decent. I don't have enough removal. I need to definitely get more of that, figure out some OG things, some instants that would be helpful for targeted removal as well. Death Touch is nice. Death Touch definitely counts as removal, but I need some more targeted removal, so we're going to check that out. All right, while we are on the Final Fantasy train, I don't know how I forgot about Kefka, Court Mage. This was the #1 commander, well, besides Choco, Seeker of Paradise, that I was looking forward to from Final Fantasy. I haven't gotten around to building this guy, but now that I'm doing Grixis, oh my gosh, I'm just adding him into the 99. Gonna be very fun, and then I don't have to build another Grixis deck. So we're throwing him into the 99 here. Really fun card, has some really cool artworks that you can choose from. Very fun to add this. I also went ahead and added like Exhume and Reanimate. I've never played those. Again, I'm not a graveyard girly, so I've never played those in a deck before. I'm really excited about them. There are some really pretty versions, but just really fun cards. All right, I went ahead and added in a couple cards like Counterspell and Offer You Can't Refuse, but I don't know how I didn't think to add a Monument to Endurance. It is super strong for any kind of shenanigans that you want to do. Wow, I was really excited to pick this up for my husband's Rafine deck, but I need it here because we're also conniving and doing a ton of discard stuff. Whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Draw a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life for only 3 mana. I do have some Ether Drift stuff because that was a fun set to figure out for artifacts because I wasn't an artifact girly until that set. So this is a really, really strong card from that set, and I can't wait to see it in action. Okay, I kind of need to just wrap up this deck. Before I go anywhere else, I want to make sure I'm adding in all of the lands that I want. We already talked about Spymaster's Vault. I went ahead and added in like Blazemire Verge and Gloomlake Verge just because they're good. But also, Maestro's Theater is exactly the colors I need. It helps me filter through my deck to have one less card in my deck to make sure that I'm drawing things that are actually good. But I'm going ahead and adding in all of the gain 1 life lands. Yes, they enter tapped, which isn't great, but I'm worried from losing life from all of these other shenanigans. I'm a mono white girly. Losing life, I know it's a resource, but that makes me so nervous. So adding some more life here, I think will help me be more confident, which I definitely need. Obviously, command towers going in here, Fabled Passage, Exotic Orchard, things like that are going to be good. I'm over here looking at these lands. Obviously, like Xander's Lounge is super strong. I don't want to pay $8 for a card. I'd rather play 18 cents or something else. So there's definitely going to be better lands. I don't have any shocks. I don't have any fetches. Those would be really strong to put in the deck. I don't own any, and I don't want to spend a ton of mana on those because I am having to spend so much money on all these other cards. So we're going to figure it out. Obviously, Surveil is going to be super strong in this deck. how do you not put Thundering Falls and Raucous Theater? That's $25 on 2 lands. Undercity Sewers as well, 21 just alone. So that's like so much. But you need it. I know you need it. I am going to just shovel out and go ahead and pay for those 3 surveil lands because literally this deck needs it. But the other things, we'll see how it goes. Okay, friends, I think we are finally done with our Spooderman's deck. This is, in fact, the Green Goblin. This is a Green Goblin deck. Yes, I do love the Connive from Norman Osborn here. We want to make sure that we are having fun no matter who we cast from the command zone, either though I think 80% of the time it is going to be Green Goblin. So we ended up with 26 creatures. We talked about a lot of them. I'm very excited about this artwork. Arn Carnage Crimson Chaos. He looks insane. I love it so much. I ended up adding both Emmett Selks here just because they both are really strong, have a lot of good shenanigans. Obviously, everything highlighted in red right now are in fact not legal to play at the moment because the set hasn't yet released as recording this video, but they will soon be out in the world and I can't wait for that. I did get some like Streets of New Capenna shenanigans in here. I'm really excited for those. Ledger Shredder is going to be good. We got Final Fantasy doing fun things as well. We didn't go crazy with the Universe Beyond. We're trying to really stay on brand for Spooderman at the moment. So these things down here are going to be really good for flavor wins there as well. But we want to make sure that we are doing Connive abilities. So I'm really excited about that because this is a secret Connive deck. But of course your girl had to throw in some Bloom Burrow with that Ledger Shredder. I already have this card. So even though it's more expensive for this version, I'm very excited to have some Blue Burrow action in this. If we're going over to sorceries, we got 11 of those. Very excited to play Reanimate. Reanimate, Exhume. I've never played those outside of like Cube Draft. So having them in a deck is so fun. I do collect these Mystical Archive cards. So I have quite a bit of them. I don't have all of them. I'm on my way, but on the way I'm getting quite a few of these. So being able to proliferate on top of card draw with Tezzeret's Gambit here is something I love to do. I have this in my Toxrill the Corrosive deck, but throwing it in here with Connive is really strong because everything's getting +1 counters, which is going to be really good. Strategic planning for some more shenanigans there with our graveyard, but of course I had to get some targeted removal. So we have Vandal Blast. We also have where did it go? Some other fun things. I think they're more in the instance, but very excited. We got Prison Break, which will be good, Risky Research, Romantic Rendezvous for some very pretty and fun things to do, because we got to make sure we have some politicking going on. Okay, instance again, we have 11. I'm putting in this beautiful Abrade. I don't have this version. I am getting this because it's insane. The connection back to the OG artwork is really, really good. I love Seb McKinnon, a wonderful artist. I can't wait to put this Bedevil in the deck, as well as some Unholy Heat for some targeted removal. We also have some more OG stuff, Counterspell, Lightning Bolt, Change of Plans will be really fun. Can't wait for that. Now For You Can't Refuse is the one that I was trying to think of earlier, where it becomes a legitimate business person. I lied. It doesn't. What's that card? We found it. Witness Protection. It's only 1 blue. I'm going to throw this in there. Take out a basic, even though I shouldn't do that. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got business person, legitimate business person in the deck. We'll see that in a second. I'm excited with where these are. Artifacts, we gotta have the OG, Soul Ring, Commander Sphere, Arcane Signet, of course. Mask of the Schemer, as well as the Soul Stone are some flavor wins here for Spooderman. Again, the Soul Stone, absolutely insane, extremely powerful card. I am not going to pay $100 for this card. The only way I'm getting the Soul Stone is if I open it in a pack. So fingers crossed for pre-release events going on. I would love to open a Soul Stone, but knocking this out of the deck knocks off $100. Which is really nice because if you see, we are at $700. $700. Ain't no way your girl's spending that kind of money. We also have Monument to Endurance, which is absolutely vital in any kind of Connive deck. So if that's what you're focusing on, you need to have that card. It's giving you ramp with making treasure tokens. You can also get card draw, obviously really good. And then having your opponents lose 3 life definitely adds up over time. So Crucible of Worlds, never had that card. Very expensive to me. I want to play it. What can I say? I just love the card. I want to play it. I want to have it in a deck. We are moving on to our enchantments here. Grave Pact, which is super fun. I do have an extra one of these laying around, so I'm excited to put that in here. I was thinking through a lot of things I have in my Toxrill the Corrosive deck. Was it Blood Money? I don't know. But whenever you cast a spell or something, I don't know, you put counters on it, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you get black mana equal to the number of counters on it. Really, really good. Only during your pre-combat main phase. But then when I was thinking through these cards, I'm like, I don't want to just have the same cards in every single deck. So we're trying to get out of that, which is where we're having Spiderman No More, Bloodchief Ascension, Curse of Unbinding, Imposter Syndrome, Maximum Carnage. I've never played any of these cards in a deck. A lot of them are Spooderman, but listen, I'm excited for some curses. I'm excited for Bloodchief Ascension, getting that pretty Drana artwork. I love her. And then if we're going over to lands, I did remove a basic so I could throw in that Witness Protection, Legitimate Business Person card. I was trying to be so good. I started with 38 lands. The base for me is 35 to 38. Now, if we are trying to play stuff out of our graveyard, hopefully we'll just get to be able to play multiple lands doing fun things. But if I'm filling up my graveyard more targeted, I want to be able to play spells out of my graveyard. So would it be better to have more lands? Probably, but we're not doing landfall, so we're not doing any kind of like weird shenanigans of needing to play lands. That's just an extra ramp ability because I don't have hardly any ramp in here. I also am a little bit nervous about the removal aspect. I don't think I'm playing enough, but I think I'm playing more than the majority of Commander players run these days. So I love Castlevania's Transmutation, Witness Protection. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be pretty decent. I am a bit nervous about that 700 price point. That's insane. There are a ton of cards in here you definitely don't need to run. But we're going to see how it goes. So we're going to just start with a base. I'll update you guys about that. But overall, this is a really good deck. I think it would be a ton of fun. I'll probably just try it out through Scryfall, simulating the gameplay here on Moxfield, see how it goes, run it a few times, and make some edits because definitely your girl's not spending $700 waiting to see if this is even a good deck. Really excited to try out Green Goblin, though. I think it is really strong. I'll probably just go through the cards that I have here. What I like to do is I will take a tiny post-it note and write the card that I actually want, put it on the back of a card, and then put that card and sleeve it in my deck so that when I am trying to get some upgrades, I will compare to my Moxfield list what I am hoping to grab as a replacement, as an upgrade, so I know what I'm swapping out for what. I like to keep track of it that way. I like to know how my deck changes and evolves over time. So this is the goal. This is not the starting point. This is going to be the goal. Obviously, as more sets come out and other things, talk about deck building with each other. There's going to be suggestions that you have that are going to be way better than some of the things I picked out. But I'm going to go ahead and link this deck in the description below. Take a look at it. Take a gander. Let me know what I missed, how you would build this deck better, and we'll talk about it and discuss in the chat, in the comments, because I think it's pretty good. I'm very excited. And may you also be excited for Spooderman. I think there's a lot of fun to be had in this set. Obviously, there's some really good ads here. They know what are good because they are pricey. So anyways, I hope you have a wonderful time deck building. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Make sure you are in the Discord hanging out with us for all of the fun Magic the Gathering stuff. And follow on YouTube here if you care about fostering safe and authentic gaming spaces for all types of gamers. All right, so overall, I'm really excited about this. I think that it's going to be interesting to play out. Again, it's a world's best deck to me because this is something that I'll play. So at the end of the day, you can always make a deck stronger. There's always going to be upgrades, but really you just need to make sure you are focusing on playing a deck that you will enjoy playing. So can this be EDH staple? Absolutely. I hope that you figure it out and that it goes well for you. For me, I'm really excited about this version. Definitely have some upgrades in there that I'll need to save for. However, there's a lot of stuff that just makes it fun out of the gate. So remember, when you're deck building, you need removal, you need ramp, you need card draw, and synergy, of course, matters. So as long as you have those things, then you'll be good to go. I hope you had a great time today. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time. So until then, happy gaming.